Hey, back in the mix. Charlie here with the Lakers Nation Philippines podcast. I've been gone for the first 10 games, and I apologize. I've been busy working on a video project, producing other shows, board hopping for other shows, and working on a few personal radio projects behind the scenes also. But I'm back, and I'm hoping to, at minimum, do a show every 10 games. But come January, Dash Radio, which is where the Lakers mixtape and the Lakers Nation Philippines podcast is being recorded via video. We're switching radio stations. We're switching over to a new location. So Dash Radio has been working really hard in providing a really dope new facility in Hollywood. So come January, we'll be updating more Lakers Nation Philippines and obviously the Lakers Nation or the Lakers mixtape projects for you guys. In the meantime, it is November 15, almost noontime here in Los Angeles. And news broke that Avery Bradley has a hairline fracture on his right leg, and he will be evaluated between 1 to 2 weeks. That, to me, is a clear-cut sign of this era and league of the no hand check rule, where pace is supposed to be pushed. And I will say this till they make changes for the league. I do not like this uber fast zone defense, no hand check rule league. It is far more injurious for the players. You look at players like Kawhi Leonard, even towards the tail end of Kobe Bryant's career, who is a mega warrior, but it became the faster league. And that's how he blew his Achilles, right? You look at LeBron James, he pulls his groin. And a partial to that is LeBron James playing in a system where Luke Walton, who at that time I will openly admit I was supportive of, but if you look at it in hindsight, he was a terrible coach. You know, he wanted LeBron to run some more. You can't do that with an aging superstar. And it's the same thing with Avery Bradley, right? I personally feel Avery Bradley does a fine job defensively. He can score. He's not a dribble penetrating, create your own shot guy, but I like what Avery Bradley brings to the team, and I wish him well. And in this era, you have to be almost 3 deep now. You have to be 3 deep. At point guard, I would have been happy if we had Bradley, Quinn Cook, and Rajon Rondo. At the 2, if you have Danny Green, Alex Caruso, and then let's say KCP, fine. Which, by the way, behind the scenes, I'm not going to be a hypocrite. I was frustrated with KCP and wanted him traded. But even with his injury, I do not like the fans that time the trade him or fire him or let go of him or buy him out right when the guy gets injured. That's terrible. The one thing at least KCP does is play defense. Okay? So maybe it'll be, let me recant. For the 2 guards, it'll be Danny Green, Alex Caruso, Troy Daniels. And this is where we're really thin, guys. It's the small forward. Aside from LeBron, then you have Jared Dudley. And that's where KCP could play the small forward. A little too short. Literally a small forward. So at 6'5", it would be LeBron, KCP, and Jared Dudley. Jared Dudley, you watch him move. I have the same dad bod he has. My biceps aren't big. I got a bit of a belly. But at the same time, it's like I could be clutch. Or I could be clutch. Or Jared Dudley could be clutch in certain situations, in pockets. The same way Ron Harper was for the 2000-2001 Lakers. Very limited minutes, but you want him to be a veteran on the floor and run the system, boom. That's who Jared Dudley is. So I like Jared Dudley as the 3rd small forward. So if KCP is the backup to LeBron, so be it. And there's another topic about Iggy, which I'll talk about. If we had Iggy, if it was LeBron, Iggy, then KCP, then you're good. And I know I've been preaching this. We need another big aside from JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard, Anthony Davis and Kyle Kuzma. We need a fifth big that can play the 3-4-5. I was texting DJ Dino from the Lakers mixtape show, and Joel, DJ Jarrell, I should say, Joel. Like it would have been great if we signed like a Thabo Cephalosha. He's a good three backup, plays D, can hit the three, but at the same time on a small ball lineup, he can be a four, the same way Kyle Kuzma plays a four. So those are the lacking needs that we need. We still need a small forward, and we need a 3-4-5 lanky guy, okay, that can play defense and shoot. That's where we're at now with the league. It's meant to be fast. It's meant to be entertaining, but the longevity of players aren't going to be there. It's not. And don't get me wrong, I don't want to be that old school hip hop head who's like, no, we got to bring it back to 90s basketball. But honestly, if you want the health of players, you need to reinstitute the hand check rule. Because everyone's getting injured. Everyone is getting injured. That's why you fans who are who are stuck and can't move on and enjoy LeBron James because you're such a Kobe Bryant fan. Look, I'm 44. I've been through the rodeo, man. My basketball knowledge hasn't been extensive until, I want to say, the late 90s. That's when research was available. But really, the articles, the YouTube links, Twitter, that wasn't available till the late 2000s. 2008, 2009, that's when Twitter was born. Well, with Instagram, you don't have those advanced basketball faculties. And going through the rodeo, I remember older neighbors talking about, why are we letting go of Norm Nixon? Why is Detroit talking about Adrian Dantley being let go for Vinnie Johnson? That's for the Detroit Pistons. And when I started developing more of an acumen for basketball or a rabid fandom, I used to think like, why are we trying to trade Cedric Ceballos because he can score? And the Suns don't want Robert Horry. Is there a way we can sign him? Because the Suns didn't want him already. I remember even with Kwame Brown, which it turned out to be really good for us anyways because he was a trade piece for Pau Gasol. But I was like, no, you can sign him for the mid-level exception at that time, which was $5 million. And why pay him $9 million? And he's the exception to the rule that, because he had a larger expiring contract, it fit with Pau Gasol. Now, because we are now at this championship perspective, that's why a lot of fans are also panicking. I'm at a point where every time I assess things, it's because of a championship, not to build to get into the playoffs. The tone has changed. The perspective has changed. With Rajon Rondo coming back, let's talk about the point guard situation since Avery Bradley's gone. Rajon Rondo still cannot play above 15 minutes. And if you play him above that, what's going to happen? Is he going to get re-injured because he's a vet? So with Rajon Rondo, you have to continue to playing him 15 minutes. Quinn Cook, I feel like he's slowly building up. I still feel you need to give Quinn Cook backup minutes. And now it's time for Troy Daniels to step up. Because I feel like the two is going to have to be Troy Daniels. And I never liked Troy Daniels' defense. And he's not even a streaky shooter. He's an inconsistent shooter. He's like Kareem Rush. You guys remember him? I think he was in the same rookie class with Luke Walton. And then Gennaro Pargo was either a rookie or sophomore. Off the bench, we had Gennaro Pargo, who got cut, Kareem Rush, and Luke Walton. That was the 03-04 year with the Lakers. So the point guard position needs to be Rajon Rondo and Quinn Cook, and most likely Alex Caruso. And then at the two, it's going to have to be Danny Green and Troy Daniels. And with the KCP injuring his leg, which I hope he can recover, it's going to be LeBron and Jared Dudley now. And what that says is if we push all of these players while there's injuries happening, more injuries are to come. Which is why I feel I'm not as hard on Kawhi Leonard doing this load management centric calendar playing for the Clippers. Because he knows what it takes to win a ring. Granted, the first time he won with San Antonio, he was the second star. And the first star was really the trio, the triumvirate, right? Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker. And he was still learning. And Kawhi Leonard has suffered from that mishap with the San Antonio health staff. He knows what it takes to win a championship because he took that Raptors team on a lease. His contract was on a lease with the Toronto Raptors and took him to the championship. Now, you look at Pascal Siakam, you look at Van Fleet, these people are legit players. Siakam is an all-star. Van Fleet is becoming a star, which is great. It's almost the same way it got paid forward from San Antonio for Kawhi Leonard. Van Fleet and Siakam learned, especially Van Fleet, learned from Kawhi Leonard. LeBron James, even though he's like Wolverine light, he needs to be load managed. So with this team, everything needs to be structured around managing time and the calendar. I've said this before. Anthony Davis is a knick-knacky injury. I don't want to say injury prone, but he gets injured knick-knacky frequently and often. So the last couple of topics that I do want to touch on is Dwight Howard. This guy has changed my opinion. I thought by mid-January or whenever his day-to-day or temporary non-contracted signed contract expires, then he's going to fuck around. But I guess not. I like Dwight Howard coming off the bench, and since we're 9-2, I'm recording this before the Friday night game, Pacific Standard Time. I like what we have. And especially now that JaVale McGee had 18 points the other night, I think he's going to find his groove. So we're set with the centers. It looks like Dwight Howard is also building his way back with his back. And as long as the Lakers don't run ISO plays for him and keep it to a minimum, like maybe one or two, I think we're good. Dwight Howard has won me over. Just like most of the Laker fans. Just play defense, do the small things. As a matter of fact, he's like the super Ori in the sense of, I remember Robert Ori would defend against Rasheed Wallace, and Robert Ori would like poke the ball when he would be back down, and he would bother Rasheed Wallace. Robert Ori was the guy that couldn't handle someone like Elton Brand, but knew how to play around that. So with Dwight Howard, I'm pretty happy with him. Perhaps towards the end of the season, we can talk about what do we do with Dwight Howard? Do we extend him? But that's later on. But for right now, I'm sold on Dwight Howard. My doubt is gone. And finally, to close this short pod, I want to talk about Coach Vogel. During the first game, I thought Doc Rivers showed his moxie, his gully, and outcoached Frank Vogel. But now Frank Vogel's also won me over. He's done so many great things as far as from a coaching perspective. It also feels like Jason Kidd is no longer the tepid, I'm going to try and get your job, Frank. That vibe is gone. And Lionel Hollins, it's like an all-star trio. It's like Magic, Byron Scott, and James Worthy. You know, I like our coaching lineup, and I have to give props to Coach Vogel. He's done such a great job. I think it's also critical that LeBron James respects him during the Indiana, Miami, and even Cleveland game days where they would play them in the playoffs. So it's critical. And it's such a blessing in disguise that we had him instead of Ty Lue. I'll give credit to Dino, my co-host on the Lakers mixtape. Ty Lue would have been the de facto assistant coach because LeBron would have been the head coach. But in this case, there's room and faith for people to believe into the system integrated by Frank Vogel, Lionel Hollins, Jason Kidd. If we got Ty Lue, which I will first and foremost say, I have to eat my words, I wanted Ty Lue because that's the best player we had, LeBron James. Now, to defend myself, we didn't have AD yet. But if we had Ty Lue, do we sign Jason Kidd? Do we sign Lionel Hollins? No, we don't. So I have to give props for the vision. I was really disappointed, but I also think Ty Lue's a scumbag rat for signing with the Clippers because he felt insulted with the amount of time and salary. But how long is he going to be with the Clippers? Is he going to be with the Clippers for the amount of time he wanted? I don't think he's more beyond 3 years. The only reason why Ty Lue is with the Clippers and the Clippers grabbed him is to get more intel on how to handle LeBron. So props to Frank Vogel. Everything's looking really good, but it's got to be a load management season. I am at the pace of fandom and analytics of this team to where I feel, you know what? If it's back-to-back, go ahead. Let the stars take the night off. Let's see if this team can handle it. Albeit, I'm okay with, let's say, AD taking the night off one time, and then the next time it's LeBron. But I'm also sold on LeBron. LeBron has done such a fantastic job with actually putting effort. And lastly, before I close, I want to give, well, this is more regional to LA and New York, like a donkey of the day. There's this recent trend online. And for my smart, intelligent Laker fans, fellow fans, and broadcasters, try to stay away and just eye roll at the Pelican fans. These goddamn Pelican fans, they don't do anything smart. They're like the guys who still have this D'Lo penchant. Bring D'Lo back. But the Pelican fans, they're always overhyped with Brandon Ingram. These dumbasses will provide great stats of Brandon Ingram on a losing game. They don't see that. They're not intelligent enough to see that Brandon Ingram is scoring that much points and whoever part of the team is because Zion's not there. It's also a losing team. These people are so stupid, they don't realize what kind of fit Kyle Kuzma is with LeBron. Even last year, he knew how to play with LeBron. And that's the part of on-court chemistry you can't replace. Brandon Ingram, I would have loved to keep him, but the moment you sign LeBron, you're out for a ring now. And it's in distance, guys. Brandon Ingram isn't dope enough to be like Kyrie. We're like, for sure. All right, Kyrie, I'm LeBron. I'm tired. I'm going to give you the ball. Go get a bucket. Go wreak havoc. Brandon Ingram is not at that point yet. Of course he can do this, but a lot of these points that he stacked is off transition. It's not like slow the pace and get your bucket. That's where Kyrie excelled. Same thing with Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade, you can slow the pace, especially that wasn't the faster up-tempo Golden State era. Dwayne Wade could get you a bucket. In the playoffs, Kyrie Irving did that. Brandon Ingram could not. And keep in mind, 3 years in a row, Brandon Ingram got injured. Granted, the last year was about a blood clot, but still, It's his third year and he got injured and lost time. It's the same way the Clippers lost to the Pelicans, where Lonzo Ball wasn't playing, Josh Hart wasn't playing, Zion wasn't playing, Okafor wasn't playing, Brandon Ingram wasn't playing, and they still lost. So who do you hype now? Because Brandon Ingram wasn't playing and the Pelicans won. So stay away from those Pelican fans. They're a bunch of dum-dums. They don't know shit about basketball. They don't know how to watch with an intuitive eye. And they're the most irritating, annoying. Scroll away. Scroll away from if you see them on a Facebook group, on Twitter, just roll your eyes and skip right through. But that's a quick pod for the Lakers Nation Philippines. It's Charlie signing off, and hopefully I get to do these once every 2 weeks at minimum. Signing off. Thank you. Chat soon.